quite a number of years ago, when I was the campus minister at East Central University, Oklahoma University in Ada, Oklahoma, I wanted to try to think of a way to bring more students over to the Student Center. And I had a really sweet student assistant, secretary, who was a great cookie maker. She really knew how to make her mama's recipe of chocolate chip cookies. And so we started what I called Granny's Cookie Jar. Every day at the Student Center there were homemade cookies, and it really worked. Now when I came to Panhandle State University, I wanted to do something like that, and so I began making and bringing in cookies for the students to eat every day. And then I started teaching classes at the University Center, and I thought, wouldn't that be great to make cookies every day for my classes? And that's how the cookies started. Now, originally, I was making chocolate chip cookies. And these packagings of chocolate chip cookies are great. They're very easy to make. It only takes an egg and one stick of butter, and you mix them all together, and you come out with a great chocolate chip cookie. But then they came up with slice and bake cookies, and that was really an easy way. Now I have a lot in the cabinet of these packages, but today what I want to do is show you how to make another kind of cookies, snickerdoodles. Now you can make them out of a box mix like this Pillsbury mix, and again it only takes one egg and one stick of butter. And that's fairly easy. But it's easier still if you'll use a slice and bake cookie dough like this Pillsbury cookie. And today that's what I'm going to do. I want to show you how you put the cookies together, and then I want to show you how to dip the cookies and put them on the cookie sheet. And then I'm going to show you, having already preheated the oven, what those cookies will look like and maybe what they'll taste like. So let's get started. First, I have already mixed my cinnamon and sugar and put it in a dipping dish like this. Next, I'm going to take the roll of cookies and I'm going to slice the end off, because that makes it a lot easier to open the cookie dough. And incidentally, if the cookie dough is still cold from the refrigerator, it makes it a lot easier to slice. Now I'm going to use this knife. It's a bread knife, but I find it to be a really good knife for cooking. And I spread the packaging out. This is all pretty good, pretty easy, and you always want to wash your hands first. Now I figured out a way to look at my cookie dough and separate it right down the middle. That gives me an even side, even two sides, and I know that I've got to get 6 cookies out of either side to get a dozen. So I'm going to cut each side into a half, and then I'm going to slice 3 cookies out of each one of these ends. Now with the cookie, I'm going to dip it in the cinnamon and sugar and begin putting those cookies on the plate. So the second thing you do after slicing is dip. Dip into the mixture of cinnamon and sugar. Go into the second cut, the second roll. Now these cookies will come out basically the same size. And they're nice sized cookies when you do it this way. You keep dipping your cookies into the mixture. I'm going to the second half now, which will be my third roll. And don't those look nice? Now if you were using the box cookie, you would still have to dip in the cinnamon and sugar. You'd make up basically a sugar cookie dough, and then once you got it all in the mixture, you would break it apart into 12 equal sides, equal pieces, and you'd still be dipping in your mixture. Now, I like to do this because I have some students who are not as fond of the chocolate chip as most students. So sometimes you just want to do something a little different. Okay, now I have shown you what you need to use to slice the cookies and to dip the cookies. The next thing to do is put the cookies into my preheated oven at 350 degrees. And so I'll go back and put the cookies into the oven. And then we'll see what the cookies look like. When they're baked, they'll turn out nice and brown, and they'll just smell so good. And we're going to see what they look like in just a short 15 minutes. But because I'm making a video and we can't wait, I'm going to edit just a minute to show you what they look like. Having set the timer for 15 minutes, I now hear the timer beeping, so it's time to get the cookies out of the oven. You might have noticed that I used a piece of parchment paper under the cookies. I find that is a great way to keep me from having to wash the dishes. So taking a pot holder, take the cookies. I want to get rid of the sound here. Now, this is what the snickerdoodles look like. And after they cool on parchment paper, you can just pretty much lift them up. Cool enough to lift right now. Now, look at this snickerdoodle cookie. Brown, cinnamon, and sugar all over the top. Smells so good. I hope you know today that I've shown you what you need to make snickerdoodles. I've shown you how to slice and dip the snickerdoodle and put it on the baking dish. And then I've shown you how to go about putting it in the oven and taking out these wonderful fresh snickerdoodles. Now, that gets me back to the fact that I love to make cookies for my classes. I figured out that in the last 20 years, I have made over 2 million cookies. I'm getting to be pretty good at it, and one of these days I might just be great. I hope you enjoy the cookies.